A lot of you, when you watch our Southeast Alaska black bear hunts, you email me with a lot of logistics questions, and I'm glad to help, but I thought it might be best to just do this video clip to talk about it. And this hunt almost starts 18 months in advance. So I want you to look at a calendar. I'm here in May of 2016. I had to apply for this tag by December, I think 10th is the deadline, of 2014. And the reason that is, so December 2014, I apply for the bear season year that runs from August 1st of 15 through, I think, June 30th of 16. So if you want to come and do one of these self-guided Southeast Island hunts, just about all of them are now on a draw for self-guided non-residents. Before you come up here, if I could give one strong piece of advice, it's that make certain where you go is the best place you can think of. And I don't care if it's calling biologists, calling game wardens, talking to other hunters, taxidermists. For this hunt here, I would bet if I kept track of my time, I've got over 40 hours invested in researching this spot, these bays, this camp location. And it's because, okay, what can I do at high tide? What can I do at low tide? If the wind blows out of the north, what can I do? Where can I get water? Because you have to be able to get fresh water to drink. It's, yeah, so what, we got an ocean here. You better be somewhere nearby where there's a fresh stream and you can filter water. The very first fork in the road you're gonna have is, where am I gonna camp? Because where you camp determines where you can hunt, where you can get to under certain conditions. How many bears are going to be around, how much hunting pressure might be around. That's kind of you planting your stake in the ground. This is where I'm going to hunt from. And you really have two options, well, maybe three. You could stay at a Forest Service cabin. The Tongass National Forest has cabins all over the forest. You can tent it like I do, or maybe you could hunt out of one of the small towns or villages and just base out of there. The reason I do the tent operation is it gives me more flexibility. My experience has been that the areas around the Forest Service cabins, they get hunted pretty hard. So the age class of the bears within hunting area of those Forest Service cabins sometimes can be a little lower. The downside is this place is known for rain, lots of rain. And as you can see, known for lots of mosquitoes. Once you decide where you're gonna stay, then I start looking at how do I get to where I wanna hunt? Am I going to rent a skiff and drive from one of the bigger cities, if you wanna call it, Petersburg, Sitka, Ketchikan, whatever? Or am I going to fly out and set my camp, and then, like I do, I then fly back to a village, get my boat, and then come back to my camp. A couple quirks to the rules in Alaska. If you're a self-guided hunter, you have to go and rent your boat from their home base. You can't have them deliver it out here. So I fly to wherever I'm renting the boat, and then I drive the boat back to my camp. When you come to Alaska, if you rent a skiff, know what you're doing. I'm lucky, I grew up on the lakes and rivers of Minnesota. When stuff goes wrong here in Alaska, it goes wrong. So if you aren't comfortable renting a skiff and doing it yourself, then by all means, don't do it. Hire a guide. Skiff rental, there's a trade-off there. Understand that when the tides go up and down and up and down, if you get that big skiff high and dry at low tide, you're waiting it out. Little skiff, a little 16-footer with a tiller motor on it, you can usually skid those off the rock pile even if you get left high and dry on the tide. Trade-off is you're not going to go out in bad weather and tough water. You also, with the smaller skiff, you're a little more nimble where you can get in and out of a lot of these places. Now another option, and you've seen me do it before until TSA cut a bunch of holes in my raft, is there's this company called SOAR, S-O-A-R. They make these inflatable rafts. They're about 80 pounds, and they will hold so much weight, it's unbelievable. You can get a motor bracket for it, you can row it, you can get dropped off back into one of these really cool places. In a place where most of the outfitters overlook it because the big tide flats, they don't want to screw with that. They don't want to get their boats hung up and have to wait out a tide. It's another option to think about, flying an inflatable up here. Then you got to think about, all right, if I shoot something, what am I going to do with the meat, the hide, everything else? And a lot of people say, well, do you salt the hide? I usually don't. I clean skin the hide as best I can. I open up, and any taxidermist will tell you this, make sure you cut the lips, make sure that you get the cartilage out of the ears, make sure you open up the pads. And usually I can get by for 2 to 3 days like that if I keep it in the shade, keep it in the wind. Same with the meat. Read the regulations, because every one of these areas in Alaska have different requirements about pelt sealing and what all you got to salvage, what dates you have to salvage the meat and not salvage the meat. But assuming you're coming up in the spring, you're going to have to salvage the meat. And when you do, you got to have a place to take care of it. I use the same game bags I use for elk. When I get flown back out of here, I've made arrangements that somebody has a freezer. I can put that meat in there. And when I fly home, that meat is chilled, not frozen, but at least chilled enough that it's going to last until I get home where I can take care of that meat. Assume we split this among 3 hunters. You got $80-some for your license, $220 for your tag. You got your airline flight to get up here to Alaska. To fly the beaver out here round trip to one of these islands is anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500. Skiff rental, depends on how far you are, where you're at. You're probably looking at anywhere from $800 to $1,500 a week. If you were to spread it out over 3 guys instead of me and 2 camera guys, we could do it for an average of about $2,000 a piece. That's why we come and do this. This is why this hunt is one of our hunts that we do every year, because Alaska is such a remarkable place. And we want to show you that you can do it without breaking the bank. Come to Alaska and do it. The logistics, go watch all of our YouTube videos. We have a whole list of Alaska bear hunts. I think we've got 6 of them out there. Just watch them. Go to our Hunt Talk forum. There's tons and tons of forum threads out there answering questions about Southeast Alaska bear hunting. It is one of the most fun things you can do, and you owe it to yourself to come to Alaska and try it.